Okay, I was not prepared for this at all. Hi guys, it's Janae and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm reacting to episode 6 of 4 Minutes. I'm so glad to be back. I'm so sorry it took so long, but I hope you guys will still enjoy it. Before we do get into it, however, I just want to say a quick and massive thank you to all my amazing patrons and channel members. If you're interested in joining either of those uncut and exclusive reactions to things like 4 Minutes, the links will be in the description below, along with my social media and my PO box. And if you want to subscribe, that's always greatly appreciated. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's video.
เอาละครับนายอนุวัฒน์น่าจะหนีไปแล้วครับ
I mean, you can talk now. I feel like the threat of him hearing something is past. Again? So we're gonna see how things turned out in the original version of events. Oh, that feels very unnerving. Because, like, it's interesting. In the original version of events, he fled the scene after hitting and killing her. But then in the timeline that we experienced while watching the first few episodes, he saved her life, but that ended up costing his mom and his life because she ordered a hit on them, which is so interesting.
เก็บข้อมูลเรื่องประสบการณ์ของคนไข้ที่เคยผ่านการหัวใจหยุดเต้นมาก่อนนะครับเดี๋ยวป่ะก็น่าสนใจดี
I mean, that in and of itself doesn't seem
กูจะทำ
that interesting.
มากกว่างานวิจัยก่อนๆรับรองงานกูได้ตีพิมพ์เมืองนอกแน่นอน
like the findings, because of everyone shared cardiac arrest experience, is more interesting, but the fact that you have the information is not that
ไปก่อนด้วย
interesting, because it could be nothing.
ก็ใช่อ่ะยุ่งมาก
2 ปีเธอเปลี่ยนไปเยอะมากเลย
อะไรอ่ะนัดเราก็เป็นของเราอย่างนี้อยู่แล้วป่ะ
You were not in the first half
ช่วย
of
ดู
the
แลเรื่อง
series,
ความหวั
were
ง
you?
ที่ใหญ่ของเธอทำทุกอย่างที่เธออยากให้เราทำทำไมถึงไม่ดูแลความรู้สึกของเราบ้างเลยวะ
I'm struggling to understand where the scene that we saw from the police's perspective is fitting into all of this, because in this timeline of events, the one that we're currently witnessing, his brother's death would not have yet occurred. So is that from the timeline that we left behind in the previous episode where Great was shot? It's all very confusing. Like, I have to admit, non-linear storytelling always gives me a headache. Like, I struggle to follow it so easily and so much.
ที่ถ้าพ่อไม่สนิทกับตำรวจป่านนี้แกได้เข้าไปนอนคุกแล้ว
พ่อก็แค่ไม่อยากเป็นข่าว
Yeah, please don't act as if you yourself are not responsible for multiple people's death as well.
เกรกขอบคุณคุณพ่อสิลูกที่ช่วยจัดการทุกอย่างให้อ่ะ
I'm kind of scared to find out how this affects Great's personality.
คุณคะ คุณ
That's such a beautiful shot. Kind of freaking me out a little bit. Like, this is the moment where I remember he played being Vegas really well, and he was very creepy for a decent part of that show.
มาทำไม
เดี๋ยวกูไปถึงมึงก็รู้เองอ่ะกูมีเรื่องสนุกๆให้มึงช่วยทำเว้ย
I wonder if part of this is kind of showing how subconsciously he regretted all the... I think we're gonna see him choose all the wrong, or make all the wrong decisions in this version. And maybe it's also like it was his subconscious regretting those wrong choices, and that's why the 4 minutes took him back to those specific moments, because those were the moments that he wished he'd acted, because those were the moments that he wished he acted differently.
รู้มาทำไมวะ
Okay, ต้น
I don't want to see this again. It was brutal enough the first time around. Okay, okay. Sound. Damn. That's your answer? Not like, why did you murder someone? It's, why did you make me witness you personally do this? Because now I don't have any plausible deniability, assumedly? Oh yeah, he totally hit himself over the head multiple times to the point that his blood splattered everywhere over you. Definitely. And also, like, I totally was wearing gloves, and thus my fingerprints would not be an issue, and no other form of DNA would ever be found on that body. Like, yeah, the water can wash quite a few things away, but it's still a very stupid risk to take. And all this because you can't control your anger. Someone died. Oh, you have to, like, that sound is sickening. Cutest cat. Now is not the time for an ad placement, okay? That shirt is not good for my health. When did he find out about his name in the timeline that we first watched? I know, like, he knew for quite a while, or like relatively from the start, but I'm struggling to pinpoint it as... and this is the flash forward that we saw, I'm assuming. Getting him drunk to try and get information from him. I almost don't want to say it, but those pants fit him really nicely.
มีคนตามผมมาเหรอ
เปล่า ผมมาของผมอยู่แล้ว ขอนั่งข้างๆได้ไหม
Beautiful shot.
เกรด
ปกติมาที่นี่บ่อยไหมครับ
Yeah.
ก็บ่อยอยู่ เรา
Yeah. That's a beautiful glass. What the hell?
ผมว่ามีอย่างอื่นน่าสนใจกว่า
อะไร
You. My goodness. The tension. It's so grim knowing like why he's approaching him, and also like what Grace has done in this version of events. This is a lot. Okay, I was not prepared for this at all. Wow, okay. How do I somehow forget how intense these scenes can be from this company? I appreciate that there's less sounds though. Wow, okay, that's like, it's fully out. Did Great start feeling suspicious, or... You don't think it's gonna be a little bit obvious if he were to find, it's like, see you? You don't think that looks a little bit obvious? Like you're planning to blackmail him, or do you think there's some kind of method for extracting information from him in the post-coital bliss? Like, what's going on? Oh, I feel so stupid. I was like, what is that? Okay. Again, this is a lot. And yet, again, I will say, I appreciate the fact that there's not as much sound included in these scenes as there was with the other couple. I like how, like, it's kind of beautifully filmed, but at the same time, the tension, the awfulness of the situation is so clear. Like, what was the point of that blackmail material? Did it not film, or are you having a crisis of conscience and that you're quickly getting over right now? Wow, like everyone in this version of events is just a piece of trash.
ท่านเห็นหรือยังคะ
So violated, and I am well aware that Great murdered 2 people, so like that's a thing, but
What's up, Dad?
it doesn't make the things that were done to him any more acceptable.
ออกไปพ้นหน้าพ่อเดี๋ยวนี้ไป
This dad has to go. Like, he's not good in any of the versions. At least the other people were on a better moral track in the previous version.
เดี๋ยวสามารถทำขนาดนะ
ถามรู้ใช่ไหมว่ายายรักทานมาก
It's hitting me right in the feels. Oh, I feel like I'm holding my breath the entire
ผม
episode.
เจอเร็วดีนี่
กล้ามากนะที่ใช้วิธีแบบนี้ ต้องการอะไร
This is an interesting approach to getting revenge.
ทาน
ดีครับ จะได้ไม่ต้องแนะนำตัวซ้
Okay. I'm struggling to think how he's gonna spend this.
ำผมไม่ถอยจนกว่าคุณจะยอมพูดว่าคุณเป็นคนฆ่าพ่อแม่ผม แล้วก็ยอมเลิกทำธุรกิจชั่วๆนี่ คุณไม่รู้หรอก
Maybe don't say that when you have things to lose.
ของบ่อนพนันที่เริ่มต้นธุรกิจนี้คือพ่อกับแม่ของเธอ
มึงโกหก
The thing is, on the one hand, I could believe it. Because to absolutely destroy Time's image of his parents, I could believe it as like a plot point. But this guy is so slimy that it also feels like the kind of thing he would lie about.
ถ้าทามยังไม่หยุดทามก็จะได้เจอกับความจริงที่ทามไม่รู้น่าจะดีกว่า
I mean,
ยาย
you've
ทาม
just
เองก็
made
ค
it
งจะใจส
known.
ลายหน้าดู ถ้าอาจเป็นทามอาจจะอยู่เฉย
Oh, this is interesting because this is a truth that didn't come out during the previous version of events, so I wonder how it's gonna play out if we check back in with that timeline.
หลบไป
เย็นนี้ไปกินข้าวกัน
ไม่ไป
I love how he's not bothered at all by the fact that this man posted that kind of content without his consent.
ป้าครับก๋วยเตี๋ยวไก่เพิ่มพริกใส่กระเทียมเจียวเยอะ2 ที่ครับ
ป้าครับผมกินเผ็ดไม่ได้แล้วก็ผมไม่ชอบกระเทียมครับ
Yeah.
แล้วก็ไม่เอาเลือดด้วยนะครับ
Of course I can eat it. Why wouldn't I be able to? Oh my goodness, that's so awkward. Something I kind of wonder how it's gonna play out is, if I'm not misremembering, the person who was being chased at the start of the show was Time, right? So does he die in this timeline?
ไปบอกพ่อด้วยนะ เอาเงินคืนไป พี่ไม่อยากใช้เงินชั่ว
นี่พี่กำลังงานกับพ่อผมอยู่เหรอผมเฟี้ยวอ่ะ
Oh goodness, he's so
คิด
cute.
แผลเองคนเดียวเลยเหรอสุดยอด
This is interesting. I kind of love this dynamic so much, which sucks because I don't like this timeline where Great killed 2 people.
ขี้เสือกขนาดเนี้ยไม่ต้องเป็นหรอกหมอไปเป็นนักสืบไป
Yeah,
ๆ พูดมาก ไป
the hand holding would be so cute if the context wasn't so grim.
แล้วพี่จะไปไหนต่ออ่ะ
กลับบ้านดิ
ไปเอากันไหม
Wow, so
ออก
forward.
จากบ้านไม่ได้ชักว่าวมาเหรอ เราแยกกันตรงนี้เถอะ
I totally get why Greg might be confused, because that's a lot of mixed messages after you just held his hand.
เราไปเจอกันที่ร้านเดิมได้ไหมเอาหน่าพี่โอเคไปเจอกัน
I'm so confused about like how everything is gonna turn out. I hope this doesn't end up being a tragedy, but I also wouldn't put it past them. And this is how he dies at the start of the first episode, isn't it?
จัดการที่นี่เรียบร้อย
ครับนาย
You guys are so messy. Like, it's genuinely a wonder you guys haven't gotten caught sooner. Actually, I'm glad we're kind of getting all the answers, at least to an extent, in this one episode, instead of this timeline being dragged over multiple episodes. This is surprisingly similar to the first version of events. Oh, and here he pulled it off himself. It wasn't revealed to him.
แนนคือใคร
คนที่พี่ชายเกรซจับตัวไปอยู่ไหน
นี่พูดเรื่องอะไรอยู่เนี่ย
งั้นจะแจ้งตำรวจก็แจ้งไปเลย ถ้าไม่บอกว่าแนนอยู่ไหน มึงก็ไปให้พ้นหน้ากู
Sorry, like I'm just so. You should maybe not try and tell someone in a car that is very distinct. So even in this version of events, you got out? Oh, he would have had to because he saw Nan being murdered originally, and I'm assuming he's not going to do anything in this timeline. the way I'm holding my breath right now, like.
เบามาบอกเขาเป็นใครฆ่ากูสิฆ่ากูเลยไอ้พวกชั่วให้โอกาสเป็นครั้งสุดท้ายนะฆ่ากู
Oh. You about to have a heart attack? Okay, no. What are you guys doing? Oh.
ที่แกส่งข้อมูลให้เอาไปเก็บไว้ไหนส่งให้ใครบ้าง
I just realized the timeline of events differ here slightly because he's already been offered the money at this point versus only being offered the money after this event in the version that we saw.
ตามไปแนนไปแล้วกัน
เฮ้ยหยุด
Did I misremember? Like, is it not?
ไปทำแผลหน่อยไหม
ไม่ไป
Time that gets murdered in the first episode?
อย่าเฮ้ยหมอจะไปไหนเนี่ย
I mean, he's traumatized by the murder of someone that he
ขอบ
knew.
คุณมากที่ช่วยพี่ออกมา แต่ไม่ได้ช่วยอะไรแนนเลย
จะให้ผมช่วยยังไงอะพวกแม่งมีปืนอะ
แน่ใจว่าช่วยไม่ได้
I mean, they had guns when they were dealing with him as well. So what, like, I get why he is feeling, why did you stop them from killing me but not from killing Nan?
มึงไม่ตายคนยังไงสัตว์
Oh. That is so disgustingly dehumanizing.
มึงว่าไงนะ แม่งเลย
I'm so glad this is not the grade that we followed in the first few episodes because this grade makes me sick.
นอกจากนี้นะครับยังมีหุ้นส่วนที่เป็นนักการเมืองและนายตำรวจยศใหญ่อีกเป็นจำนวนมากครับ
Oh. That was a grim image. He looks so strange upside down that I almost didn't recognize him.
เกรซจะทำแบบนั้นไปทำไม
ผมว่าคุณต้องไปถามน้องคุณแล้วล่ะครับ
Interesting, in this version of things, he doesn't report to the bosses quickly.
มีอะไรจะบอกผมไหม ไม่มีอะไรบอกผมเลยหรอ
I just find it so strange how we followed the brothers lover storyline in the previous timeline, but that is a storyline that should technically be explored in this timeline because that's where it matches. So I'm wondering why they decided to put those two together as if they were happening at the same time, you know, and then later obviously it was revealed that it was not that.
พ่อแม่ก็รับผิดชอบเองก็แล้วกันไปก่อนนะ
เกรซ
Okay, I want to see how this plays out in this timeline. He's a lot less entitled in this version of the outburst.
กลับทำไมลูกไม่มองตรงนี้บ้าง เอาแต่โกรธ เอาแต่ไม่พอใจ แล้วก็ทำตัวห่างเหินกับแม่ กว่าแม่จะมาอยู่จนถึงจุดนี้ได้
How are you making people's deaths about you?
เกรซทำไมไม่เข้าใจแม่บ้าง แม่ทำเพื่อเกรซคนเดียวเลยนะแม่ขอร้องเกรซเชื่อแม่นะขึ้นไปขอโทษ
I mean, the thing is, he can believe you and it doesn't make anything of what you said better.
เกรซ
Because I do think he's sincere, she's sincere in why she did everything that she did. That doesn't make it okay, though. So the murder doesn't take place, which makes sense because there wasn't someone to hire a hitman, but then how did he get the flash forward of that? Oh great. I'm assuming this is his brother's lover, whatever. Okay, and suddenly it makes sense why he has a trauma response when it comes to this specific elevator. This is very grim, and I'm just wondering what the last 2 episodes are gonna be. Damn. Okay, so that's the end of episode 6, and I obviously still have a lot of questions, but I quite liked the way that this episode played out. I really appreciated how they managed to loop the entire, I'm gonna call it the original timeline, into one episode, and the way that it matched and differed from what we saw at the start of the show. I quite liked the contrasting in that. But it is grim and interesting to see that if you don't, like, in the one, he did so many things wrong. In the original timeline, shall we say, he did so many things wrong and died because of his involvement with, was it Build? I think Build's death. And yet, in the second timeline, he tried to do things right, and he still ended up dying. So it's kind of like, has this vibe of you can't avoid your fate. And because there's still 2 episodes left, I'm like, where are we gonna go from here? Like, is he somehow gonna get to the hospital in time in the, like, second timeline, the one that we followed originally, that he gets saved? Because his mom very much looked like she had no chance of being saved. Or is he gonna get a third and final chance at life here, where he gets like a third timeline? It's very interesting. And again, as I said, I just wonder how it's gonna resolve in 2 episodes. And we still haven't gotten the version that we saw at the start of the first episode, where someone died leaving the gambling area. I'm wondering, like, if I'm misremembering and it's not time, I'm wondering if it was the woman who wanted to commit suicide's son that we saw. But if it is time, is the lesson that we're gonna take from this the, like, if you save, like, if great survives, time cannot, and if time survives, great cannot? Like, is that what we're gonna end up with? I'm just very concerned that this is gonna end up being a tragedy, which would make sense with the tone of the rest of the show, but I'm not gonna be happy about it. Still, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought, and otherwise I'll see you in the next one. Bye!